All right, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. We've got Miss Christine from Gilliam Farms. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh, thank you. Or I guess you're talking to the chat, or are we talking to me? I'm sorry.
I'm talking to everybody right now.
Sorry. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So yeah, but thank you so much for coming in here and doing this with us this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we really appreciate you taking your time. Coming in here and doing this with us this evening. Getting
Yeah.
some feedback.
That was my
Oh.
partner in crime over in the other room. It was a rookie move.
That's
He didn't mean to,
that's
though.
funny. That's
He's
funny. No, you're good. You're good. So we're just gonna start right off and talk about you guys and your channel. And first question I want to know what people who might not be following you but follow us here. What do you guys do over there?
Well, we actually have two different channels. So the main channel is Gilliam Farms, which my husband Johnny, that's his brainchild, and he's done for a few years now. And that is our farm, which we have Brangus cattle on there. We have a small herd. And then, of course, part of that, too, is just what he does with heavy equipment. He's retired, so now he's really working hard, working the farm. And we've always lived out in the country. We're into hunting and fishing and all that good stuff. So on Gilliam Farms, you're going to see a lot about the cattle work, a lot about bulldozer infrastructure, building ponds. Maybe you might see a little bit of fishing, a little bit of hunting. Um, lots of different things in there. Now I don't want to and we're into drag racing too. Oh. So we're into Pontiacs, and so you'll see some of that on there too. He's an excellent driver, excellent bulldozer operator, can get things done. He's one of those guys I say, you could give him a match, like a knife to whittle with and a piece of wood, and he'd build you a mall. Not that I want a mall, but right. He's just one of those guys.
He's like MacGyver. Handy.
Yes, I think so.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you got Brangus cattle. What is a Brangus cat? What is that? A cross between?
Yeah. So Brangus is a cross between Angus and Brahma.
Okay.
And they Brahma, can be known to be a little feisty. Right. They got that big hump on there. So me and Johnny, we like cattle that have big ears. And then have a bunch of navel, and that's what you get with the Brangus. Brangus also, they really like, they're good about being able to tolerate the heat that we have here in Oklahoma. So, and then we also we have a couple, one's named Oreo and one's named Beth, and they are what they call white baldy. So they have the white face and the black body, and we love them too. So, and Beth's named Beth after a certain TV show and a feisty little lady on there.
Yeah. Yellowstone. Yeah. I was going to ask if that's where you got the name from.
Yeah. We had a pastor called the Mean Girls Club because we had 4 little heifers in there that grew up together, and they were little. I call them the Mean Girls because they just always had that look. But Brangus will have that look of like, don't mess with me. But they're pretty sweet. They don't care for me because I'm not out there every day. But right. Johnny's very attentive to them. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, or is the purpose solely because of the heat or because they taste better?
I think it has more to do with what we prefer, and I don't know about the taste. We're getting ready to take our first steer to camp.
Okay.
And we'll see what it's like for that. My husband, he's raised cattle his whole life, and I know he's done Charolais. We've never done Angus. Black baldies is what he calls them. I'm not sure. We had a good friend that we went to church with, him and his wife. And we had been wanting to get into the cattle again because now he was retired and he had the time to do that. And her husband was a really good friend of ours. They both went to church together, and he passed away. And so she was going to sell their whole herd, and we couldn't afford the whole herd, but we bought enough that we wanted to be able to move his herd forward, just kind of. Right. And they wound up having quite a few Brangus, and then we bought a full-blood Brangus, or I guess that's what you call full-blood Brangus, bull named Danny, which is the star of Gilliam Farms. And he's quite the dude. He's if you've ever seen my shorts or Johnny's shorts from Gilliam Farms, he's quite the bull. We were very blessed when we bought, it's kind of scary. You buy a bull, right? and you're not 100% sure if
Right.
they're going to do the job, but he has brought forward several beautiful calves and stuff, so we're really excited with that.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, Ginger from Not for Nothing Homestead says Danny is the man. She's been out there. She's seen him in person, but he's quite the bull. Very impressive.
So they're not a mean cattle then? Like they're not like Brahmas, where Brahmas are kind of like off-putting. They don't really like people per se, especially bulls. Uh, so the Brangus are more laid back then.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I think they've got some Brangus Brahma in them
Right.
that can come out. I think it's just the way you treat and take care of them. Now we have some that we just, they're crazy cows,
Right.
keep that head up. I'm like, I ain't time for that.
Right.
So if they go to the sale,
Right. There you go.
we've had some, when in fact, the day that we bought ours or we're loading them up, we had one cow that she would not load. She had a calf. The calf went through barbed wire left and right. She took off. The only thing that stopped her was really an act of God, because she went hitting in a pit mud and got stuck. So we had to hire a cowboy to bring her out, and she was fighting and mad and snorting. And so that day we bought her. That day she went to the sale.
That's funny.
Because like we don't have time for crazy.
Right. I understand that. There was a lake right here behind the house, and in the corner of it, that like I could have walked straight through to the lake. It was like 200 yards straight shot, right? And in that corner there was a bull. And I didn't know that. So I go down in there one day and I'm going to cross over in the fence and go straight through. And then that bull was in there. And I was like, I don't remember seeing you here before. I was like, I might be able to walk around the fence. And I didn't even get near that fence. Like I was going to walk around the corner of it. And like he come running it. I was like, yep, nope, we're gone.
Yeah,
walk back up the hill and around the long way.
They look at me very cautiously, but I'm out there with my husband. When I go out there, I always say our Danny, he'll stare at you and give you the Michael Myers stare. If he's straight on, he's scary looking. If it's from the side, it looks pretty docile. But Johnny has a short on Gilliam Farms that there's a cow in estrus, and he's like, don't mess with me. I need to get across the fence. And so I wouldn't mess with him for sure.
Right.
But that is Gilliam Farms. And then I have my own channel, Christine Mrs. Gilliam Farms, where I don't have a whole lot of the livestock in it, maybe some chickens every time, but it was kind of a joke about my channel. It came about 10 months ago because I was like, well, I want to get in collaborations. I want to do this. And he's like, not on my channel. No, he didn't say it that way. He just felt like it was, here you have bulldozers and building ponds and dealing with cows, and all of a sudden you throw in a cooking video, So I started my own, and I didn't change the name because that's where I went by, was Christine Mrs. Gilliam Farm. So it still brings in our cattle when I can. I did my first cattle video a couple of weeks ago, and that was fun because we were searching for one of our calves that had just been born with the meanest mama out there. And it was going to take both of us. Usually we try to, if we've got to take care of the calves, he usually can, do it by himself, but it's better if there's both of us out there just in case somebody gets hurt,
right
there. But so I love doing the collaborations in my gardening. So I can't get enough of the gardening, and this is my time of year right now. So I'm pretty excited. So anyway, but the two of us, you can say I'm a sub to that, not a sub, but a spinoff from Gilliam Farms.
Like a sister kind of. Yeah. Okay. So you like gardening, you like baking, you're kind of like the homesteading part of Gilliam Farms, right?
Yeah. I would say where we live is the homestead part of, and then we've got the cattle farm because that's on a different property. They're both our farms. That's why it's Gilliam Farms, because we have two farms. I grew up with grandparents that lived on a farm. They were probably more homesteaders.
Right.
Some had 30 acres. One might have had 1 acre. It just depends. So they didn't call them homesteads, but they were homesteads, but they just call them farms. That's why we always just called ours farm. Johnny grew up on a farm. It's probably more of a homestead. So I think it's, me and Johnny both have said homesteading is more of a mindset than a location. And, but we're very blessed to where we're at. But yeah, I guess you're right. We to make a short story long, I would say, I do more of the homesteading part, the canning. I don't know. There's no telling what I do, cooking wise. The other thing too that we both like is hunting. So I did my first host of a collaboration in November, which was Wild Game November.
Yep.
And that went really well. It was kind of nerve wracking because I'd never hosted a collaboration before. But I think it went really well. I had some good friends that like Ginger at Not for Nothing Homestead and Joey. They kind of helped guide me through that, and Dale from 9 Acre Family Farm. So it was fun.
And it was good too, because and I like how you use wild game in the collaborations when you can.
Yeah.
You know, I thought some of those that you came up with that I've watched have been phenomenal. And I was like, I never would have thought to do that, you know?
Thank you. Like the one that I think it was for your collaboration that I did, like the jalapeno bake, or what was it? Like a pig in the blanket jalapeno. I think it was like a collaboration. I can't remember.
It was either my collaboration that you did that for, or there was something with the deer. I think it was.
Now that was probably mine with Wild Game November, but we cook pretty much every meal. No, I wouldn't say every meal, but probably 3 meals out of the week. Usually it's some type of wild game, mostly venison. Now, once we get that steer, in the freezer, they'll probably change it up a little bit. But we both, like I said, we both love to hunt.
Right. So do you guys got a lot of game on your property, or do you guys got to go like out and hunt it on public land or stuff?
Well, we have 90 acres where the homestead is, and across the road is probably the biggest section of it. It's like probably 60 to 70 acres. And we've left that kind of as a pristine for hunting, like a sanctuary.
Okay.
And they also take the pressure off of there's a lot of, not everybody's like the best hunter, or,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times, during this time of year, they've got pressure off of them. So they hang out there. When we first bought this place, it's kind of funny because we kept seeing bucks and we're like, oh, they're awesome. That's cool. But bucks leave. We want the doe. So they, bring the bucks in.
Right.
But it's paid off quite a bit here. We've done good. And then our farm, we have 35 acres and we've harvested off of that. And then I used to be on it, but my husband has a lease with some good friends that I forget, like maybe 1,300 acres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then my birthday's next week. So I bought myself a present. I bought
happy
finally.
birthday.
Oh, thank you. But at 52 years old, even though I've been doing this almost 26 years hunting, I bought a lifetime hunting license because they're getting ready to go up. And so I had been saving. So I did that. And I'm pretty excited. So we're going to put in for draw-in hunts. We like to do those draw-in hunts in Oklahoma. So we'll be doing that too.
So what do you got? What comes in those hunts? Like, is it antelope?
No. Here in Oklahoma, we have, of course, venison. I think there is, I don't know. I think it's pretty much just deer we put in for, to be honest with you. There's some elk. There's some elk in the Wichita Mountains. And it's, it's hard to get a buck tag though, or a bull tag. I'm sorry, not buck, a bull tag. Yeah. And Johnny did that years ago, but it's kind of like once in a lifetime. If you get drawn, you're probably never going to happen again. So I always put in, and then he could go in with me and pack out with me whenever it's time. But
that'd be cool.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
Because we have elk, but we're not allowed to hunt them yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, we have just that one area. There's not like, open season here, or not open season, but a season for elk because there's just not that many around here.
Right. So you got mule deer and whitetail there then?
We don't have mule deer, just whitetail.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, they're the better ones, right?
I think so.
they're definitely the prettier ones.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, I lived up north in South Dakota for 3 or 4 years for work while my husband stayed here, and there was a lot of mule deer and stuff. And I always called them the dumb cousin to the whitetail because they just seemed like just goofy and not as smart.
No, they just stand out there in the middle of a field.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whitetail ain't doing that. They're going to hug the tree line. And and so that's funny. I would have thought that there would have been antelope out there.
No. There's none here.
Man,
that's like when I went up north of South Dakota. I was like, "Wow, what are those?" That was really cool to see pronghorns and stuff. Right.
So, do you guys dove hunt or anything like that?
Johnny does big time. In fact, he has a few videos on Gilliams Farms. I haven't been, but that's something I would like to do. I'm not really handy with the instrument to hunt them with, so I need to work on that because right now it's turkey season. In fact, we've been so busy, we realized there's just 2 days left of it. So Johnny hasn't been out there as much as he wanted. He went today, but he didn't see anything. But pretty excited about, getting to learn that, most of my wedding presents or birthday presents have been something I can use as an instrument to hunt, and that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, cool. So we've got that, you know what I'm trying to say, available to me. I just need to go out and practice.
You got any Muddy Girl camo ones?
No.
I bought my wife a couple Muddy Girl camo ones.
Oh, really? I don't know that one. I have a few. Like I usually have always worn just regular camo. I have a few that have like a little bit of a pink stripe, but I don't know what the Muddy Girl's like. I do have. I forget what brand it is that came from like what is that called? That big store, Bass Pro. Maybe they're at Muddy Girl. Maybe I do have Muddy Girl. Don't realize it.
The Muddy Girl's got pink in them. So
okay.
Or purple, and so that's how some of her stocks are on some of the ones.
Okay, yeah, I don't have much of that because I'm kind of like, oh.
I ain't gonna lie. One time I got so frustrated with mine and the scope was so off on it that I was just like, you know what, I'm taking hers. Same caliber as what mine is. I'm taking hers out, and run into a whole bunch of guys on four wheelers, and I'm standing there with a Muddy Girl camo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is a horrible day.
Oh, so it's I was thinking of the camouflage clothing, but it's actually okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I like I have the Rugers. I like them.
Okay,
yeah.
So a lot of the Mossberg or the Tikas and there's another one I can't think of right now. Savage, a lot of Savage, Mossbergs, and Tikas will have the Muddy Girl on them.
Oh, okay. So it's the camo pattern is what the Muddy Girl is? Okay.
It's a camo pattern stock.
Okay. No, I don't have any of that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they're pretty cool looking. So, so what do you like to do? I know you said you like to garden. We can get to that here in just a second, but what do you like to do in the kitchen? Like, do you like the canning part, or do you just like making the meals? And like, what kind of videos do you like to do when it comes to the cooking part of your channel?
Well, I haven't done any canning videos yet because it was right after this season. So I have some coming up. I love canning. I like the pressure cooker canning. I think the very first thing I ever pressure cooked was, or canned was venison, just to see if I could do it. And that was several years ago. But I do a lot of, I don't care for baking. Right. I'm more of my little adopted niece, Megan, who I think's in here. She says, season with love, we season, you measure by love or something. So it just depends, I'm a Southern girl, right. You just, whatever it tastes like. So I'm not really good at measurements. So I'd prefer to just cook. I don't care to cook either. At my age, I'm going to be 52. You're kind of like, I've been there, done that. But when it's a special thing where you're trying to learn something new, I love that. That's what I really like. It's something I've never made before. Can I do it? And that's what you're going to see with a lot of my videos.
Well, I mean, you look like you're super comfortable there. So obviously you are a really good cook because, you look super comfortable in the kitchen. When you're making these videos and stuff, you look like, hey, I've been doing this forever and a day, and so I thought, like she really loves to do this stuff, but you're right though about the Southern people. We don't really measure much. We do it to taste, and we're like, and what's funny is my son catches me all the time doing this. He'll say, Dad, you cooked that 3 days ago, like eggs or something, right? You cooked it 3 days ago and you didn't add that much of whatever it is, and I'm like, yeah, because 3 days ago it didn't need it.
I like
today it does though.
Yeah, today it does. Yeah, very true.
It doesn't taste like it did 3 days ago. So now we got to add a little something else. All right. And but that is how we cook, and I think it drives a lot of people crazy.
It does,
especially when I'm making videos, because a lot of I've noticed in some of my videos on collabs, especially, people will say, "Well, where's the recipe at?" Well, I gave it to you. It was a little dash of this and a little dash of that and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, and so I got to kind of work on that, I guess, and start giving them a little more detail.
That's hard. I think that's, I love collaborations. I really do, because it makes me kind of think of something different, unique. Because when let's say it's like a pie, or or jarred up jam, which we're going to be doing and stuff. It's kind of like you go through and look what everybody's done before. It's like, how do you come up with something different and original?
Right.
That's what I always look for. So something unique. But I do love those. I like to do the video, but if I had to cook every day, I've done that for a long time.
Right.
For my poor husband just got done eating a sandwich again. So.
Hey, sandwiches are good though. I don't care what anybody says. You get a little bit of turkey or chicken or whatever, and some bread and daggone tomatoes, and you're good to go. I'm fine with that.
Ginger is putting that I can make a fantastic fried venison, and I like to do southern fried venison steak. And they were over during the meetup, and we cooked for them, and they got to try good fried okra. They had never tasted good fried okra and did not like it, and they were okay with mine. I think they were just being real polite. But that's one of my favorite things is having cold, like deer steak or something.
Right.
And make you a sandwich the next day. Oh, my mercy. That's awesome.
It is very, very, very good. Very good. Now, on your okra, do you use mustard for the coating, or what are you using for the coating?
I don't use anything. I cut them up. Of course, I clean them, and then I dry them, really good. And then cut them up. I throw them in a bag with, whatever, half flour, half cornmeal. And my secret ingredient, almost everything, is lemon pepper. Okay. And I shake it and I dust it off. So it's got very little breading on it. And then I put just enough oil in that pan where it's not soggy. And I cook it up crispy. And I've never had anybody complain about my okra.
Back in the day, I would have never, ever, ever ate okra or asparagus.
Oh, really?
And it was back in 2022, I think, is whenever I first grew okra for the first time. I was just in this mood of trying different things again. Yeah. And we fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. So then the wife's like, well, you got to grow this year round. And I'm like, we live in West Virginia. This ain't going to grow year round. So
that is true.
We're going to have to figure out a way, because this stuff likes a lot of heat.
Oh, yeah. That's why it doesn't get here in Oklahoma.
Yeah. And we can't produce this kind of heat. So in the wintertime anyhow. And so I had to come up with a way to store it over the winter, to have it. And so we'll cut it up, freeze it, and do it that way. But we had never ate it we had ate it, but we had never cooked it, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And we found a couple recipes. One was blackened okra, one was using egg wash, and one of them was using mustard. And the egg wash was not a very good one. Mm-mm. And it kind of tasted slimy. And I don't like slimy okra. That just is a turn off for me. The mustard one wasn't very bad. It depends on which one you use. If you use the Alabama red okra, it wasn't very good. I think that must just be an extra slimy okra.
Yeah.
But if you use like the heavy hitter okra, or the there's a Japanese, spineless crimson, mm-hmm. And there's this Japanese one. It's a Japanese red okra. I can't remember the name, maybe Nagasaki or something. Yeah, it's pink Nagasaki, I think is what it's called. Very, very good. But those three did pretty well in mustard. But all of them did good with the blackened recipe. But you got to use but we had to use it was recommended, and we have, once we used it, a cast iron skillet.
Oh yeah.
And we did it the blackened way, which is pretty much what you're doing. You're just putting it in flour and cornmeal, shaking it up real good. Very, very, very little bit of oil.
Very little.
Yeah. And then put it in there and just keep stirring it up until it fries up. And that one was the one that we liked the most.
Really?
Yeah. So
you'll have to try my recipe, because it'll probably give you the best of both of those. And I cook almost everything in cast iron though.
Okay.
That's what I believe in, and I stay away from everything else.
Yep. I love them. It's hard because I grew up with my dad cooking in them. Uh-huh. So, and I always watched Dad cook and stuff. And so, to me, it's nothing. But then trying to teach her how to cook in them, that's a whole different story. So we have to have stainless for her. So,
yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
But hopefully one day I'll get her learned how to use the cast iron, because I like them. I like them a lot better than anything else. You ain't got to worry about any kind of toxins or anything coming up off the pan. Exactly. So, but gardening, you love to garden, right?
Yes.
So what are we growing in the garden this year?
So this year was my first time that I did a cold weather crop, and it doesn't do so good here in Oklahoma, at least in my neck of the woods. I'm in Northeast Oklahoma, and with the changes and the growing season, which to me really doesn't matter besides knowing your frost date, your first and last frost date, right?
Right.
I think it's 7B now. We were 8B. I don't know. But anyway, I planted my favorite vegetable, which is sweet peas, or what are those called? Sugar snap peas.
Sugar snap peas?
Yeah, and I'd never grown those before, and they went halfway up my trellis. I do a couple of arched trellises, and
Right.
it just got too hot real quick for them.
Really?
But yeah, so I'll try again. I'll probably plant some in August. That way I'll have them for the fall and see how they do. But I was pretty excited about that.
Do you got a shady spot?
I do.
That gets more shade most days,
Yeah.
because you can probably grow them in that if it's shaded pretty good. See, I just planted mine out, and they're only like 3 inches tall.
Oh, okay.
And I'll have them till probably the end of June, beginning of July.
Oh,
And
really?
and then it'll get too hot here for them.
Okay.
Yeah, and so and then they'll be hasta la vista till fall time. The kids love them, and we love them. We'll just go out there, pick them right off of the plant and eat them. I've never been a pea fan, and the neighbors had them growing. They were like, "Try these out." And I said, "I hate peas. I ain't eating no pea."
Same way.
And they were like, "No, seriously, try it out." And I'm like, "All right, I'll try it." But I'm telling you, if it tastes like a pea, like out of a can, I will
dirt.
Throw up. I don't want it. Nasty. And I ate. I was like, "Holy cow, man!" I'm sitting over and I just kept. They were like, "Good, ain't
They're good, like candy."
Yeah, and I'm like, cheeks look like a chipmunk.
Sounds like me. Yeah, I work from home, so I'll run out there on my lunch break or something and grab some strawberries, some sweet peas.
That's awesome.
And I'll eat okra raw out of the garden too.
Really?
I love it. Yes, that's probably my second favorite thing is just raw okra from the garden.
Are you picking them like super small?
Yeah, and because the bigger they get, the tougher they get and stuff. So yeah, probably 3 to 4 inches, maybe. It just depends. 2.5 to 3 inches actually.
Right.
Yeah, I love them.
I've never thought about that, because I always thought they'd get kind of like nasty.
That's why everybody says they're slimy, but they're not. I mean, yeah, you may get one every once in a while, but you can kind of feel them. If they feel a little soft and stuff, I'm like, no, just get rid of them. And they're nice and firm. Yeah. Oh, man, they're wonderful, I think.
I'll have to try that out. I'll have to try that out. So what else are you growing this year?
Okay, so I've got all types of tomatoes this year because I want to fill the pantry with all types of tomato products, right? So I have 10 Roma tomato plants out there going. I've got several Cherokee Purple. That's my favorite tomato. Of course, I'm a Southern girl, so I love having me some fried green tomatoes.
Yes.
So I do a lot of beef steaks for those. I have, let's see here, gosh, big boy tomatoes. I probably have, what else? Oh, and I'm in the Survival Seeds collaboration. So I have, is that Anne-Marie, or I'm not really good with names, or San Marie, or.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so those will be the first time I've grown those. So I've got those here. But I did more Romas this year and some Arkansas Travelers too. They're more of a beefsteak. So I've got those going. My strawberry patch this year went nuts. So I've got those going, of course. And then I do lots of different peppers, jalapeno peppers, anything I can make cowboy candy out of. Lots of bell peppers. What else? Corn. I'm going to do this year, Three Sisters, thank you, the San Marzano. Ginger put that in there, San Marzano. Doing all types of bell peppers. Got coral bell peppers, just regular green bell peppers. I have cabbage that's growing, but I've never done that before. And
let me see here.
Trying to get you some mods.
Yeah,
mods are good. Joey's the best. He taught me how to be a mod.
Let me see here. I'll have to.
And Johnny's a really good mod too.
Oh. All right, let me see here.
It just helps protect the channel.
Yeah. I have some mods, but they're not in here tonight. Let me see. I'll write Tony too. I don't know what happened. I didn't see anything happen, but.
Trying to think what else am I growing? So I'm going to try the Three Sisters growing technique this year.
Right.
Both me and my husband are Cherokee. So I thought it'd
Oh,
be neat
wow.
to honor the heritage and do the Three Sisters growing. So I've got my corn in the ground. I'm not seeing anything yet. And I'm late on a lot of things because we had this thing going on called a YouTube collab or a meetup, and kind of took up some of my time and work. It gets in the way a lot of things, that data 9 to 5 thing. Let's see, what else am I growing? I just got my green beans in. They're probably, well, I didn't just get them in. They're probably about 2 inch or 3 inches tall. And this is my first year to go inside and do.
You're good. Sorry.
That's all right.
I had to give her my phone so she can make somebody mod.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. First year, I got a little greenhouse inside the house and it started seeds earlier this year. So that was kind of neat learning from that. I like to do a lot of test of change, kind of performance improvement. What can I improve upon? I'm sure you do a lot of that with you growing these large vegetables.
I try. So
I went back and watched one of yours where you're trying to save the stem of a pumpkin or something, and you're doing surgery, and you have like, what was that? Pool noodles around.
Yep.
I was like, wow, that's genius. Though I was like, wow, that's cool.
It gets very engineered around here.
I bet. That's really cool though. It's like, how far can you push it? I would assume, what can you do? What can you do to improve the situation, the environment for it?
It's a lot of playing around and a lot of learning. There's a huge learning curve to it, I think. Because I still can't get past 1,000 pounds. So, well, I mean, I can get past it, just not very much past it. Yeah. So I'd like to grow a 1,500 pound pumpkin, but
I'm just hoping I can grow a pumpkin. I don't care what size it is.
If you grew these right here, you could do pretty well. Hey, Tony, bro, I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody can tell you what happened in the chat. But
do we have an issue?
Somebody's needing bounced or something, because I don't see anything that happened, but they were like, I need some mods in here because all my mods were gone tonight for some reason. So appreciate it, Tony. Sorry I had to bother you, man. I had no mods in here. I had like 10. I've made 10 mods and none of them was here tonight. Yeah, that's all good though. But have you ever tried like purple TP? Green bean. They're a green bean, but they're a purple one.
No.
And from what I had read, it was one of the ones that they could trace back to the Cherokee that were on the Trail of Tears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Baker Creek actually has that seed, and it's called the purple TP. And then I think there's also one that they call the Cherokee. I think the Cherokee.
There's a Cherokee purple bell pepper that I plant.
Is there?
Yeah.
There might also be a Cherokee purple bean too. I know there's 2 beans that they trace back to the Trail of Tears, which was the purple TP, and then one of them they trace back further than that, and I can't remember the name of it. For some reason I want to call it the purple TP, but anyhow, I think both of those come from Baker Creek. And I grow a lot of things like that myself. If there's Native Americans, tied to it, I grow it because there's Native Americans on both sides of my family. Okay. And so like my great grandmother on my mom's side, my great grandmother on my mom's side, well, my mom's dad's side, she was full-blooded Indian. I think she was Blackfoot. And then on my mom's side, my great grandmother was half Cherokee, and then on my dad's side, I think it was his mom, his dad's mom, I think. So it'd been my great grandmother on my dad's side. She was an Indian as well, and I can't remember what she was. But anyhow, very, very fascinated with Indian heritage and stuff like that. So I'm always looking for stuff that's linked to Indians and stuff. And
I am too.
I think it's just super, super cool. I love finding arrowheads and stuff like.
Yeah.
I found one out here in the yard. So if you ever watch my channel and you see the drone come up out of the backyard and start to fly toward the lake, that really big field that's off to the right hand side, that
in your
field,
opening.
yes, in the opening, it used to be not a hay field. It used to be a cornfield, and they would plow that every year and stuff. Well, anyhow, when they would do that, the old man that owns that, he's got huge shadow boxes. I mean, they're like 2 foot by 2 foot, full of arrowheads.
Yeah, that's
and
so
there's
cool.
fish hooks that they made out of them and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, now how come all the Indians stayed over there on your place and I didn't find nothing on my place? And I'm just across the creek from you. He said, because they didn't have a camp over there. So I'm thinking, well, I ain't never going to find nothing. So I'm out here putting this raised bed in last year. And I'm like, is that? And I've been down. I was like, it's an arrowhead. Like, and I start running in the house. I got it all on camera too. And I'm like running in the house. Look, I found an arrowhead, and like, I'm excited. The other day I'm out here going through the yard because now I done got in my mind, well, if there's one here, there's more here.
Yeah.
And I want to tear the whole yard up, but my wife. So I'm back here looking in the garden, and lo and behold, I'm sitting there, just filming the kids goofing off, and I look down, and there's a shard, and I thought it was another arrowhead, but what it was a big flake where they sit there and nap one out.
They did the napping, yeah.
Yep. And it was, a big old chunk, and I put it up to the light, and it's translucent. You can see through it and stuff. And I was like, all right, there's more here. So now I'm like, I don't even want to plant this year. I just want to take a big old
well, at least you have your ground tilled up for your garden.
Right. Yeah. I just want to take a great big ripper blade though and just rip it all
up.
Oh gosh. And like find these arrowheads. I'm gonna be out there all winter with a sifter or something.
But Johnny's he's found a lot. We're in the heart of Cherokee Nation where we live. So Nation is our Cherokee Nation, the complex and stuff is right here in the same town we live in.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they have the tribe or the museums and stuff. But he's found several arrowheads like out on his hunting lease here on our property. And this used to be tribe. Well, I don't remember the land. I think this land was owned by our freedmen from the Cherokees and stuff. So a lot of rich history here that we love,
Right.
And like Johnny said, we're both on the rolls. Our family is, where we can trace from the Trail of Tears to being here. So it's pretty cool. So I'm feel very blessed to have that background. So that's why through my gardening, for sure, you see it that I try to stay as true as I can. Like anything that's Cherokee related or the planting styles, I want to try to emulate that. This year I didn't have any, but I'd like to do the fish, using the fish as fertilizer, but we didn't have any.
All right. So let me just help you with this. All right. So there's a huge YouTube channel who it used to aggravate me to death that they would do this. Every time they plant, they go and they get fish. They go fishing, they catch these fish, and they throw them down in here. And I
think I know who you're talking about.
Okay. And it used to drive me nuts because they're like, oh, look, this is going to make these. And then it comes back like 3 months later and there's great big plants, right? And they're like, look what that fish has done. And I'm like, that fish didn't do that. The fish like 4 or 5 times from then did that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you might want to tell people to really like box that in, because if they got raccoons or possums or anything else in there, they're going to
come on that. Yeah.
Right. And they're going to rip your stuff out.
Yeah.
So every time I hear somebody mention fish is a great idea. And I use fish, you know what I mean? But I always want to make sure that people are very careful with that.
Yeah, that they understand the ripple effect and that you do it right. Yeah. And it's not I like to do tests, just to see if I get an improvement from this fertilizer or this or whatever, or this soil. I'm real into I've been doing a lot of research this year about improving soil because, I think a seed wants to grow no matter what, but I want to make the best environment for it. And I think the soil is really what generates this. I mean, maybe that's just my ignorance of being a new gardener too.
No, you're spot on. And so what you really want to focus in on, if you want to focus on soil biology or soil health, you really want to focus in on the biologics that are in that soil. So your mycorrhizas, your azos, your lactobacilluses, those are all beneficial fungi and bacteria that live in the soil that have a symbiotic relationship with the root zone. And what they do is they take nutrients and they break those nutrients down. And then when they poop They can
Right.
their poop is essentially converted those fertilizers over into a edible food source for the
Right.
plant. And so the more of these beneficial bacteria and fungi that you have in your soil, the healthier your soil is, which then makes for a healthier plant. So now you're spot on with that. And then of course, the more organic food that you feed them.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a trick door.
Huh?
That's just trick door. You give it a phone and it'll give it back to you. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Door.
Yeah, it is very cool. um, but no, the you give it organic fertilizer and stuff like that, and then like fish, and they'll break that down and feed and stuff. So yeah, it's very, very good to do it that way and stuff. I have noticed more difference doing biologics and organic growing. I've noticed better health for my plants, better heat tolerance, better disease tolerance. Pests don't bother them as much.
Oh, really?
Don't mean that they won't bother them, just not
Right.
nearly as much. And well, here and the other thing too is the reason why pests attack a plant is because the plant is sending a signal that it's sick.
Oh.
And that's the reason why pests attack the plant, because they're sick. Even though they look perfectly healthy,
Yeah.
they're sending a signal that they're sick. And so people will feed them not feed them, but they'll spray them with aspirins to kick in their immune system. And then their immune system kind of basically like us taking vitamin C or something like that, builds our immune system up. That's basically what the aspirin does for a plant. And then kind of helps them fight off any kind of bacterial or fungus problem that they're having, which again, the beneficial ones would help also fight that off.
Right.
So anyhow, if you're having a lot of problems with bugs, though, the majority of the time, the reason why the bugs are attacking is because they sense that the plant is weak and sick, and the bug's job in the circle of life, I guess you want to call it, the bug's job is to kill off the weaker plants. Because and I didn't believe this at first until this really great grower told me. He was like, "How many bugs do you see attacking plants out in nature?" And I was like, well, I don't guess any. He was like, "Just go take and plant some plants out in nature." He's like, "Just plant some pepper plants out in nature, out in the forest, and see what they do." Compared to what they'll do in your garden.
Yeah.
He was like, he's like, "See if pests bother them." And they don't. And the reason is because our soil is so messed up that we have diseases and stuff in there that we don't know about. Our plants will look healthy because we're feeding them good. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of times it's synthetic stuff, so it makes them look really good. But it's just like a person who looks really good, but you don't know that they're sick on the inside. You're right.
Right.
So
yeah, that's very true.
Right. And so when he told me that, I was like, that's weird, and I started paying attention to it, and he was right. The bugs do not attack the plants that are out in nature because the plants aren't sick. They're getting what they need, and they're not getting a lot of stuff they don't need. There's not a lot of disease in the soils and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. So yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I started watching for that and paying attention to it. And like, there's some tomatoes that I cannot plant in my garden because it's just that messed up with disease in there. Like I have to plant them in a different area because they are more susceptible to disease, and the disease will attack. Like black beauties are horrible for it.
Yes, they are.
And
I grew one last year and had trouble.
Right. I can plant them up here in the front yard. They do great. If I plant them in the garden, they'll get 2-3 foot tall. And then they get all kinds of spots and they start getting sick. And then the next thing, you'd be lucky to get 4 or 5 tomatoes off of them before.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when I planted them up here in the front yard, though, they did perfectly fine. So and there's less disease pressure up here in the front yard. So
I'm going to try that.
It's
I do like the black beauty tomatoes.
Oh, they're wonderful. Have you tried the blue beauties too?
Mm-mm.
The blue beauties are even better. So so they're red, but then they get blue shoulders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're black shoulder, whatever you want to call it, but they're really, really good too. And a very, very prolific grower, and not nearly as disease, whatever you want to call it,
susceptible or whatever.
Susceptible, susceptible as what the black beauties are. Because I grow like 80 some varieties of tomatoes. So I like,
Oh, wow.
I'm a tomato connoisseur. I want to try everything and try to see what's the best. Because I hate finding a tomato that I really like and then can't grow it because it's something's wrong here.
Yeah.
So that's always. Have you ever tried a peach tomato?
No.
So the orange peach tomato, it gets about, I don't know, a little bit bigger than a golf ball. Sometimes they get almost the size of a baseball. Very, very, prolific grower. But they get fuzz on them like a peach, and they taste kind of like one. I mean, they're very sweet.
Can you eat the skin like you can with a peach?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's my favorite tomato. I'll grow that thing every year from now on. It's a very, very good tomato.
I'll have to try that. Does Baker's Creek have that?
Yep, Baker's Creek has it. Then there's like the Thornburn's lemon blush. That's another very good tomato. And Thornburn's terracotta. Those are two good ones, and Baker Creek has them as well. The lemon blush is a phenomenal tomato. It tastes really good, and it grows like crazy. The terracotta grows good. Its flavor's different though. It looks like a terracotta colored tomato, but its flavor's kind of smoky like.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's definitely different. So you might want to try those out too.
I tell you, I always hated tomatoes, especially when I was a kid. But I never had like a fresh grown tomato from a garden.
Right.
I always store bought, or from a restaurant. And I always just thought they were gross. And when I started gardening and I was like, oh, I'm not going to do tomatoes, but I did one plant, fell in love with tomatoes. I was like, that's what a tomato is supposed to taste like. I don't like all varieties. I'm still not a cherry tomato type of gal.
Right.
Although I'm trying the little champagne. I think they're called champagne.
Yep. Napa Valley.
Napa Valley, yeah. Yep. Ginger I did a video on those last year, and I'm like, oh, those look so good. So
they're very good.
Year. But I just, to have I don't like that. I don't know. That's just not me. But man, right. I won't buy store-bought tomatoes now. Like during the winter, nope. I'd rather do without than.
Well, I'll tell you a good one to grow in the wintertime in the house. It's called an orange hat tomato.
Orange hat tomato.
Yeah, and the plant only gets if it gets 12 inches tall, it's big. Generally like 8 inches is as big as it'll get, and it can grow in a 4-inch pot really good. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And so you can plant multiples of those and they'll do just fine. They do great here. Like I grew them hydroponically this year in those little let pot container or hydroponic things, and they did super awesome. I mean, the kids would just be up there like eating them, and we had.
Are they like a little?
They're like this big, but I mean they're
better than nothing though.
Right. Yeah. So and then the other one too, I grew a bigger tomato, but it grew up to the ceiling, and I had to
in your house.
Yes.
Oh, wait, of course, the ceiling. Hello. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. So I had to take and wrap string around it. I had to put hooks in the ceiling and then wrap string around the vine so as it would grow.
Oh,
and
cool.
Yeah, it got up there, hit the and then started sprawling out along the ceiling and stuff. Wow. Yeah, so I had to
a jungle in your house.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say.
So yeah, it drives the wife nuts. But she don't complain about the food though. But no, if you need to grow tomatoes in the wintertime, those are I'd rather have them to do without, And
they're the orange hat tomatoes?
Orange hat, yep.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I would like to have something going during the wintertime. I haven't done hydroponics yet. We really don't have the space in the house, but I'd like to for the winter and stuff, lettuce and just tomatoes.
The let pot hydroponic system is only probably 8 to 9 inches wide and 15, 16 inches long. So, I mean, I've got 2 of them sitting on the table, on the kitchen table. Yeah. And they got their own little light system and everything. The light's completely adjustable. So as the plants grow, you just pull up and the whole light system goes up with it. Cool. Yeah. So we grew basil, we grew lettuce, we grew tomatoes. What else? There was something else. Tomatoes, lettuce, basil. There was something else. It was another green of some sort. Anyhow, we grew those in there, and they did super, super good.
What brand is that?
Let Pot, LETPOT.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
have to check that out.
Yeah.
Because I would like to try something this summer or this
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah. It's nice. I've tried the hydroponic systems that are like towers.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried that for 2 years and I couldn't get them to do anything. And those let pots, I mean, the whole kit comes together like with your feed and everything. And all you got to do is keep it watered and keep the feed in there, and they grow like crazy. So
That's what I need. Something very simple.
yep, something very, very simple. Because I'm
Very
telling you what, hydroponic is not easy. I don't care what anybody says. So because I've tried the tower for, like I said, for 2 years, and I couldn't get anything to grow in those towers, like nothing. So I would even start them and have them growing and then put them into the tower and still couldn't get it to grow.
Really? Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I just want
So,
simple and easy.
do you grow any like melons or anything like that?
Last year, I was my first year to grow some diamond. Was it diamond?
Watermelon?
Yeah, watermelons. Yeah. I haven't done any other melons. I did this year. I've got some seeds going, or I've had some little baby ones come up from the seeds. But I also have some volunteers from last year, so we'll see.
That's cool.
Our real good friend Josh from Sherman Family Farm. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a watermelon growing. So we call him Spanky because he's talking about knowing if they're ripe or not. And so just to help him out, I did the or not to help him out, but to kind of like give him a hard time. I planted some watermelons. They were very prolific, but they never got. I did it too late, so they never did ripen up and stuff. I think we had one, but my chickens sure liked them. So there's that.
Do you grow like cantaloupe or anything like that?
My husband loves cantaloupe. I do not. I am trying to grow some this year though for him.
They got giant cantaloupes that get like over 70 pounds.
Jack cantaloupes?
Giant cantaloupe.
Giant. Oh, I think you said giant. So, do they taste like cantaloupe?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a whole lot of cantaloupe for a girl that doesn't like cantaloupe.
Well, like my buddy Tony Prochaska, he's from I think Kansas, and he's got a picture of him sitting with one, and it literally looks like me sitting on his lap.
Wow.
Like it's huge. It's like the biggest cantaloupe I've ever. It's like I think it was 70. I think it's 76 or 78 pounds. It's a world record. Yeah, it's a massive cantaloupe, and they say that they because cantaloupe don't really over ripen on the vine. I mean they do, but not like a watermelon, right?
Right.
Sorry. Oh man, no, way too early. Sorry about that. But anyways, like cantaloupe will, if they're over ripened, they just pop right off of the vine.
Right.
Like watermelon will just stay there till somebody cuts it off.
Right.
So it can get like way, way overripe.
Mm-hmm.
But a cantaloupe doesn't. And so like everybody's like, yeah, you can still eat them. It's not like a watermelon that's 350 pounds that you can't eat.
Right. So, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, I probably should try cantaloupe. Your taste buds change with age and stuff. That I probably would like them now, but I'm not a watermelon fan either. I know people are going to be booing me. Yeah, I never have been a melon, any kind of fan. I'll eat it every once in a while, but like a lot of people are like, oh, you got to have a piece of watermelon. My husband loves watermelon. He likes melon, so I'll grow them for him. But I don't know.
Not like honeydew or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Really? But I have to say that I've always had store-bought ones, so I'm sure. But I also have friends that sell them to stores, so I'm sure they're good. I just need to try them again, I guess.
Right. Maybe dump a little salt on them.
Maybe.
Somebody's probably going to eat me up for that. You don't dump salt on that stuff, will you?
You do in the South, you do.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You put a lot of salt on them things. But what about corn? Do y'all grow corn?
Yeah, last year first year I did corn, and it did pretty good. I had a lot of the, what do you call those? The moss, that lay, so it was getting at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to figure out something for that this year, what I need to do, study up on that. But yeah, we like our corn, so I have some left over in the freezer. You got
to spray it. Like when the silks start to come up and stuff. Yeah. I think like you spray it then, and then I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks after that you've seen the silks, then you spray it one more time. And usually a lot of guys use BT.
Yeah.
For it, I'll have to ask my buddy over at Lazy Dog, Travis. He's pretty good at the corn thing. Yeah, he don't really get the corn earworms or whatever they're called, something like
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
didn't get them horribly last year, but it was more than I wanted. So I would really like to try to figure that out. Um, that would be important. I mean, I just think it's neat. If I can improve the situation, I definitely want to try it, just test it out. With that, though, the three sisters with the corn, I'm going to do squash. Of course, I've got summer squash and zucchini out there. I haven't planted the ones with my corn though for the three sisters because the corn hasn't come up yet, but I
Okay.
have some others coming up. Of course, we battle squash bugs horribly. I was like, that was my mission in life last year in my garden. I had this jar taking capture, of all the squash bugs I could get. But the pressure was pretty heavy and everything I tried did not help. And I was thinking, it's just too hot. It seems like the hotter it gets,
Right.
the more they go run rampant. And I was somewhere and I saw some squash bugs, not on our property, but I went to our friend's house. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if they're already out, but it's not that hot out. So maybe it looked like a squash bug, but
Are you talking about the ones that look like stink bugs, squash bugs? Okay.
And they're gray, yeah.
Yeah.
They will destroy your squash like overnight.
Spinoside does pretty good on them.
Spinoside?
Spinoside. SP. Let me spell it here on my paper.
It's a purple and white bottle, isn't it?
Spinosad. I think it's SPNOSAD, Spinosad or something like that.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
I get mine from Monterey. Is what I get mine. It's Monterey something. Let me see here. Everything I get that's like a organic type of stuff is from Monterey.
It's like a gardening supplies place or something.
It's called Monterey Garden. They got Monterey Garden Insect Spray, and then they got the Monterey Spinoside, Monterey BT. So yeah, you can get it on Amazon and stuff, but it's like most of it's got like a blue bottle. Well, it's a white bottle with like a. Let me see. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh, yep. I've seen that before. Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
that stuff works really, really good on squash bugs and cucumber beetles. Because we get really bad cucumber beetles here, like the little yellow. They look like a yellow ladybug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're yellow with a bunch of little black dots all over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are horrible.
Really?
Because they'll give your plants what they call yellow vine disease. They'll one bite and your whole plant will turn yellow. The vine will turn yellow and it'll kill everything on it. Yeah, so we don't allow bugs on our stuff.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, like no, we don't need one bite. Just everything's dead. So
my cucumbers did really good last year. They were like, I was so tired of seeing them come up. Like, no more.
I struggle with cucumbers every year.
Really?
Every year. It don't matter what type I try to grow. It don't matter how I try to grow. I can try to grow the bush types. I can try to grow the vining type. And it don't matter what I do, what I try. I struggle with them every year. I'll get a big flush of them for about 2 weeks, and then everything just dies because they get hammered with bugs of some sort, and then that's it. So I haven't really tried them since 2021, and I'm going to try them again this year and give it maybe now that I've not really grown anything like that. Maybe they're all gone. All the bad bugs are gone, and I don't have to worry about them. So so are you going to make pickles with your cucumbers or?
I had so many cucumbers last year and I made so many pickles that's the one thing I for sure have in the pantry. So I'm going to grow a few, like the, what do you call them? The burpless or English cucumbers just to have some fresh cucumbers because I like those. But I don't need to grow any more pickling cucumbers this year because like I said, last year it was like obnoxious how many I had. I just felt like I was pickling and pickling and pickling. Now I am going to do okra and I'll do a lot of pickling of okra because I like that too.
Oh, that'd be cool. I didn't think about pickling okra. That'd be good.
It's so good. Everybody's like, you don't want to eat a fuzzy pickle. And I'm like, they're not fuzzy. They're good. It's like,
You have to make a video.
Yes, I do.
Try the cucumbers. As far as cucumbers go, try the Mexican sour gherkin.
Mexican sour gherkin.
Yeah, they're only about this big, and some people call them the world's smallest watermelon because they look like a little watermelon.
Yeah.
But man, if you put them in salad and stuff like that, they're awesome.
That sounds good.
Very good, and you don't need very many plants. So just like 4 or 5 plants is all you need, and they will go crazy.
Now, are they a vining? I mean, do you need to have them? Okay.
Yep, they're a vining plant, so make sure you got them on a good trellis. The plant's not like super heavy. It's a very, very teeny tiny vine. You know, I mean, it's smaller than a morning glory vine. But it's just like they put on a bunch of these little old cucumbers. Yeah, and they're super, super good. And my kids love them. So yeah, and then we also grow the kiwanos, which is an African spiked cucumber.
I saw your video with that. I was wondering what that was. I couldn't even pronounce it.
Yeah. So those are good. Like I like to chill them and then cut them in half and eat them with a spoon. You know, like they're super good and they hydrate you really well too. And you can make some good drinks out of them with them. But they're very prolific growers, and like one plant is all you need.
Personal experience, huh?
Yeah. I planted 7 of them and I was overran.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like you couldn't keep up with them. And then they grew for 2 years in the garden without me planting them.
Oh, wow. Kind of like hell, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. A little too much too. But the neighbor was like, "Hey, what are them things?" I was like, "They're African spiked cucumbers." She was like, "You mind if I take one?" I said, "Take all you want." They were growing on my fence, and he was cutting the grass, and I was like, "Every time you see them, just take them. Get them away from here." I was like, "I don't want them anymore." Like I like them and I eat them, but I'm the only one that'll eat them. So, and I can't eat that many of them. So yeah, but those are good too. If you just want like different things to play around with, and they're heat resistant and drought resistant.
Oh, okay, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, so like I said, they're really good.
What were those called?
You can call them African spiked cucumbers.
Oh, African spike. Okay.
Yeah, but the technical name is Kiwana. It's like Kiwano, I think is how they spell it. But yeah, everybody calls them African spiked cucumbers. And there's 2 different types. There's a elongated one and a round one. So and they taste the same. So yeah, they're pretty much the same. So got a couple last questions here that I didn't get to earlier. You got the chickens, you got the cows. Did you guys have y'all got any other livestock? Y'all got pigs?
We just got pigs. Joey and Ginger from Not For Nothing Homestead, they brought 2 pigs to us and 2 to Leonard Mountain Homestead. And I grew up with grandparents and an uncle that raised Durocs and stuff. Okay. So I was like always wanting some. So we got 2 little bacon seeds running around out there. We got Pumpkin and Daisy May. And they're absolutely adorable and cute. And they'll be one day,
food.
Pumpkin bacon. But we feel very blessed to have them. We're going to do those this year. And then I'm hoping I'll talk my husband into rabbits the next year.
Rabbits are hard.
Yeah.
But well, they're hard for me because the kids are like, "Oh, look, Daddy, it's so cute. Look at the babies." And it's like, the babies are food. No, we can't eat them.
Oh, yeah. I don't got kids. I want the manure for the garden and I want the meat. But
it's very good for manure.
Yeah. I call it liquid gold. So, but I don't know. We did meat chickens last year and to sustain our house. And we'll probably rotate, and do that pigs and stuff. I just don't want to be overwhelmed that we can't keep up with them. It's, I still work full time and we've got our main projects, and our attention is the cattle. Which
I'll tell you a really good guy to, if you want to learn about the rabbits, it's Seth Larson. And so I'm talking with him, trying to get him to come on this fall because I'm already booked up till like August. And I'm trying to get him to come on this fall. If you look him up on Instagram, Seth Larson, it's Larsen. But look him up, and he does rabbit farming in a community rabbit farm where they're just out, they're running and they're doing their thing, and and he does that so efficient. I've never seen anybody in my life ever do rabbits that efficient. I grew up with rabbits. My grandfather raised rabbits. You know, I mean, I've got plenty of rabbit knowledge, right?
Right.
I've bred rabbits for a long time here. But this guy, he is the best I've ever seen, because I liked doing mine in communities, you know, and letting them dig holes. It was more natural. Everything felt a lot better. But the way that he does it is like, because when I first let them do that, they had dug a hole that was over 25 foot long. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just keep running this tape. Yeah, I'm just like running this tape in there. I'm like, this thing ain't ending here anytime soon. And and like then they had split off tunnels, and within a year they were on the other side of the fence, and they had dug over there, and we're, you know, and I'm like, oh, we got a catastrophe here. So the way that he does it is he will literally dig and bury totes in the ground and leave the lid exposed to the tote. And the mommies will dig holes to that tote and dig into the tote, right? And then all he has to do is pop the lid off when he wants the babies, because that's where they're at.
Wow, that's ingenious.
Right.
That would not work here. All we grow is rocks for sure.
I live on a rock, you know, like everything out there is rocky. So I would have never thought to do that until watching his videos and stuff. And I was like, man, this guy, he's got it. Like, so I highly encourage you, if you're going to breed rabbits or thinking about it, watch him, because he's got so many different ideas that you can bounce off of and you know, turn into your own. It's very, very interesting, because we have no rabbits right now. All of ours got old, and I said I didn't either. A minute ago, somebody gave you a thumbs down. Yeah, right.
It's like when you deal with your hand gestures, you know, it'll do things. So I probably did this or something, but
oh, really?
Yeah, like if I do that, I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Then if I do this, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's something with the Apple software or something, but I'll move my hands or something and it gives me a negative or something.
Oh, okay. No, that's good. But yeah, so we don't have any rabbits right now, and I'm going to go get the California meat rabbit next, because I was breeding, you know, rabbits that were, you know, locally here. And the next set of rabbits that we get next year, that's going to be it. They're going to get the California meat rabbit. You just put more meat on the, you know, on the table faster. You know, it's kind of like having a, what do you call them? Cornish cross, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just in the rabbit world. So yeah, we're going to get those, but, what all do you got planned for the rest of the year, besides gardening?
Let's see here. Well, we've got a few drag races that we'll be going to, taking the old GTO 69 GTO out, which I enjoy. We only do a couple races a year because it's, you know,
right,
not cheap.
No.
We used to do it quite a bit, yeah. And then you know, then the season will be you know, deer season will be coming around, and so this year is the year I'm going to get out there quite a bit. I got a backyard buck, which our backyard really isn't a backyard, but got a pretty decent one. So and it's not all about, you know, it's meat, but it is a nice buck, mature buck, so it's good.
Right.
I don't know. Let's see. Probably just day to day, just enjoying life. You know, I do a Bible study Monday nights online with the home. You know, we're part of the Homestead Hangout on Thursday nights, which is we kick it up at 5 o'clock with Gilliams Farms, and 6 o'clock is White Rock Nation Homestead, and then 7 o'clock is Ginger from Not For Nothing Homestead, and then 8 o'clock is Dylan and Lisa from 9 Acres. And we've been doing it almost a year. Our anniversary is coming up in a couple of months for doing a year. But the ladies, we all got together because we're friends and started doing this Bible study on Monday night, and so really enjoying that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we love it. And so just that, and then church, and then we got a grandson that's graduating. I cannot believe graduating high school Saturday. I'm like,
oh man, right?
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, it's like it happens like that, you know.
In the blink of an eye.
Yeah. And then we're hoping to take a a mini vacation to Georgia or somewhere, go see some country we haven't seen, which our vacations are usually like a 2-day trip, but I'm hoping I can talk them in a little bit longer. It's hard though when you have livestock, you know?
Right. It
It's
is
really
very hard because who's going to watch them?
Right.
Yeah.
So the daughter will have to talk her, the grandkids into helping us out. But I don't know. That's what we got planned. Just living life day to day. I have no expectations. Just want to enjoy life and, hear the grass grow and the vegetables growing is really what I enjoy doing.
Right.
Well, maybe not the grass, but we do went for hay. But
right.
Yeah.
So I got one last question before I let you go, and it was what got you into doing YouTube? I know you kind of touched on it earlier,
Yeah.
but what was it?
Well, my husband, because he started Gilliam Farms. He had started years ago because he just had like some racing videos from friends and stuff he put out there. But he really got into it, gosh, maybe 2 years ago, I guess. I can't, maybe not that long, but he wanted to. We have 4 grandsons. We have 2 daughters, 4 grandsons. And he really wanted to be able to like leave that information that right now they're too cool to listen to Papa,
Right.
And he would give anything to have some of the information he had from his grandparents. His grandfathers on both sides were very pivotal in his life. One taught him how to trap and hunt, and one was really into pheasant hunting, stuff like that. And so just learning all, having that memory of them. Right. So he thought, well, how cool would it be? I'm doing this work anyway, let's just see what it does. And, I'm really proud of him. This channel, he's just grown as a content creator. I'm probably biased, but he's gotten a lot of great compliments from people that I surprisingly don't give a lot of compliments, but on his editing is top notch, and his drone work. So really, really proud of him and how he's, grown in that and made it his own. But I tease him because he wouldn't let me can or do collaborations on his channel. So
right.
That's how I got to mine, was like, well, I'm real bad about that. If somebody's, especially my husband, well, if you can do it, I can do it.
Right.
And not everything I can do that he does, for sure.
Right.
We definitely have our rules, but he was, when I met him, he was into archery. I wanted to do archery. And we're talking traditional archery, recurve and longbows. And that was my wedding present, was a recurve bow and stuff. So usually I just kind of like, oh, he's doing it's cool. I wanted to try drag racing. I'm not so good at that. So, but I have enjoyed it because I have met lifetime friends. And, a lot of people don't understand that, but we have some very dear friends from our church and stuff, but that we're close to. But I have made probably my best friends through YouTube. That I know that I can call them and they're there and they know the same of us. And I just feel very blessed, it's just amazing how our life has changed. I don't know if you ever heard the story that Johnny had his channel. I didn't have one, and we really didn't understand, a lot of things, communities, community is so important to support each other. And we happened to go to a meetup that I heard about on another channel that I was watching. She's out of Arkansas, and her name is Cosmopolitan Cornbread. And she happened to mention at the end that she was going to 10 Killer. Well, 10 Killer's in our backyard, the lake. And I'm like, what? What's she going to? So it was it's like, it's a year next week, because it was our anniversary and birthday. And I said, hey, when he came out, I'm like, hey, you want to go to a YouTube meetup? He goes, where's it at? And I go, well, right over here. And he goes, okay, sure. So we went, and we were kind of like, these people are going to think like, who are you? And where are you crashing? We knew nobody. Right. And they just took us under their wings, and we met Dale and Lisa. We met so many different people, from 9 Acre Family Farms, and we just fell in love with it. So, every Thursday night we go live. We go live every other Saturday, and it's called Chilling with the Gilliams. We got our, and we love it because we're just visiting with friends. It's just amazing.
It is. It is fun.
Yeah, love it.
I do too. And you're right. Your community is so much, because when you first start out and you don't know anybody, right? It's kind of like, and you're trying to find your people. Right.
Yeah.
Because we all do have people,
Right. We do.
And when you're trying to find those people, you're like, I don't know if I belong here. I don't know if I belong there, and people are reluctant to talk to each other. I mean, it's, you really don't know who's who until you get to know them. And so I was very thankful, that I ran into Eric and Monica.
Oh, I love them.
Right, from Bland's. And, Monica just messaged me one day and she's like, hey, I know you don't know me, but I seen what you were doing with these giant pumpkins and I want you to come on. And she's like, but no pressure. Don't feel it. And I'm like, okay, hang on. Just what? Sure. Why not? Cause she was just like rambling. Like,
oh yeah, she's awesome. She's
yeah.
hysterical.
And I'm like, yeah, no problem, man. I'm on there. And they were so cool. And they've been such a blessing and stuff. And I've met more awesome people through them, and found my people. So I know what you're talking about. Like when you go to a meetup or somebody asks you to come on their live, right. And talk about you and stuff, like it means something because, you make that connection. You got another part of your community and it's very helpful. Like you, we have a lot of people at our church that we're very connected to, but a lot of who we talk to is people off of YouTube.
Yeah, they're like-minded people. You really, I don't know, you bond over those things.
Right.
That's the biggest blessing. I used to make fun of my grandkids because they'd watch YouTube and they'd watch kids playing like video games. I'm like, why would you do that? YouTube is, and here I am with a channel. My husband has a channel and our grandkids are kind of like, really? And I'm like,
right. Right.
And you're like, you give us such a hard time, but it has been such a blessing. And it's not about, it's the subscribers that are friends, that they become friends, they become family. It's our friends, and other channels. And I thank God that there is YouTube because I never would have met like yourself, Ryan,
Right.
I would have never met all the people that are in the chat. I almost know everybody in the chat. And I'm so thankful to God that opportunity came around, because what a big hole would be in our lives if we didn't know,
right.
everybody on here. Yeah. And so, you always think these things, no, really, but oh my goodness, and only YouTubers get it.
Right, exactly.
Our friends who know nothing about YouTube and they're like, "What? You go live? What's that?"
Right, exactly. What are you talking about? Like you got a live TV show? What? Like
yeah,
what?
Yeah. I like your TV show.
right, exactly. You're right though. It's so much fun. Like we got friends who they don't know a thing about YouTube, and I'll be sitting there talking to them, or I'll pop up a video. I'm like, yeah, like look at this video I did, and I'll turn on the video, and they're like looking at me like,
do I have to watch it?
I don't get this. Like what? Exactly. And I'm like, all right, never mind. Then I just click. Sorry, I turned that on. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Only YouTubers get it. And I do, it's like you, I thank God for those connections, because without that, it would be a big hole, because you wouldn't have all these different people that you can talk to and glean from, because you can glean from each other's videos and stuff and learn and share, and there's been so many times where, we've been able to, help one another out, well, so-and-so's down in this or whatever, right? And we've been able to help out or do whatever, pray for them or whatever. So I mean, it's awesome to have that, because and two, I've got friends from all over America now.
I know. Well, and not even outside of the U.S. That's
right. Exactly.
I mean, we were talking about, it's like, how cool is it? We call him our adopted son, but it's Josh. He's changed his channel name. I forgot what it's called now, but he's in North Pole, Alaska. Okay? Right. And then we have Jonesy from Tasmania. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. And I'm like, who would have thought, this Oklahoma girl, but I just love it. Yeah.
It is. It's fun, because now if I go somewhere, like I got a friend over in Hawaii, and he's like, if you come over here, just pay for the ticket to get here. Yeah. Everything else is on me. I'll feed you. I'll drive you. Just come over and hang out. And I'm like, hey, honey, you want to go to Hawaii? Oh, I don't want to fly. I was like, we'll get on a boat then, and we'll go. I don't want to get on a boat. I'm like, what am I going to have to do? Give you Dramamine or something and knock you out, push you on the plane, like put you in a luggage and put you through the luggage chute thing and let them load you up? What do we got to figure this out? Because we got to go to Hawaii,
Yeah, exactly.
But they're like, it's fun. Like they got Blue over in the UK and stuff, and
Annie from Australia,
right.
Johnny's put in here, and Paul Honeyman from England. I don't know if you've met Paul, but oh my gosh,
I haven't met him yet.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you gotta, if he's on your live, you have to read don't read it out loud, read it first because he likes to trick you, but he's an awesome guy. He's a good
okay.
guy.
Okay.
He bought two. We had the meetup, the 10 killer first ever meetup, YouTube meetup. He bought 2 t-shirts. I mean, just to help support, but he's over there in England wearing these Oklahoma 10 killer,
That's
like
funny.
t-shirts. I think that's so cool. I love
It
it.
is. And most of these people are so down to earth, good people, and that's what I like about them.
Me too.
They're just down
They're
to
not
earth.
fake. They're just
No,
who they are. That's what I love about
exactly.
it.
So it's super cool getting to know all these different people.
Yes.
So is there anything that you want to tell? Have we left out anything? Is there anything you want to talk about that we might have left out?
Oh gosh. I don't think so. You've given me so much information tonight that I've got like my legal pad here, writing things down. They'll be checking out, and probably my husband's not going to be happy that there'll be another seed packet coming in.
Anytime,
do you need, woman?
anytime you need help, you can always feel free to message me or on any and stuff, and I'll help you any way I can.
Yeah,
so
and I didn't know you had an Instagram too,
yep.
so I'll have to check you out there and go follow you. But yeah.
It's not very big. I only like 1,000 something on there. My TikTok's pretty big. It's got like 10,000 something on it.
Oh wow! I have never been on TikTok to even see anything.
Right.
So, yeah, I think I'm old and scared of it. Isn't it called X now or something too? Or
that's Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, that's Twitter. Okay, never. Yeah. See, I don't.
I got that too. So
do you?
Yeah, so I upload to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter, and YouTube.
Dang, dude! Wow, I can barely keep up with doing at least one video a month on this.
It's a lot of work.
I do want to say one thing. I know you're a veteran, and I wanted to say thank you for your service. That's very important to us that we support our veterans. My dad and uncle and some other family members are veterans, and my dad was Korean and Vietnam veteran.
Oh, wow.
Means the world to me that we support you guys. So I just wanted to say thank you personally to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get your husband on here too. So we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, funny story. I thought it was both of us going to be on here, so we're sitting here getting ready.
Oh, he could have come on.
I know, but he was like, he had some other things he had to do, and I saw the what do you call that? Your YouTube, your thumbnail, and I go, oh, it's just me. Go.
And no, he could have.
I know, but yeah, he would love to do that. So you got to send him let him know, and he'll get on there. He'll talk to you your ears off about cows.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about cows. So, because I was gonna buy one, and
buy two.
Well, you got to buy two.
Yeah, they're. Sorry.
No, you're good.
They're herd, so you don't want them. You got to have two, so they don't.
So they're like well, everybody around here
to be healthy, and happy and.
Oh, okay. Because see, like around here, what people do is people around here like I know like goats, they're herd animals. So like I like you gotta whenever you get them, you gotta get two or more. But people around here, what they do is they go to the cattle farmers, right? And when they have a young bull, then they'll just sell them off. They won't even feed them. They'll just sell them like intact, right? Just get rid of them. And then the milking ones, like they get rid of them like around here. They'll get rid of them in like 2-3 days. Like they won't even wait till them go to auction. Like they either sell them the day they're born or day after they're born or something like that and get them gone, or they take them out back and bye-bye.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So what I was going to do is because I got a buddy who his dad knows a lot of these dairy farmers and a lot of these other like cattle farmers. And I was like, well, I want one because Annie's like wanting to bottle feed them and raise one up. And I was like, I want to eat it, and so I was going to get one, and everybody around here, like, that's what they do. They'll just get one and they'll raise it up for that year and a half. And then they'll.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes me sad. I mean, I think it's good to raise them up to,
right. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had to be like the goats and they had to have two of them. Cause I've I've always seen everybody that has little homesteads like me, they only get one, and they raise it up for a year and a half, and then they're food on the table.
Yeah, if it was me, just to see the health, I think there's a lot of stress on animals, and when they have that companionship, even though the purpose is they have a job,
Right.
I think it makes for healthier animals.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Happier. And so I always say, if you're going to get a cow, get two. Johnny definitely preaches that. We always but we've told Ginger and Joey, I know they're wanting to get into cows one time, and he's first started saying a cow, and we're like, nope, two, got to get two.
So, well, there ain't room on here for two. So we'd have to figure something else out. But the only reason why I didn't get one is because she was like, well, if I bottle feed it, I don't know that I can eat it. And I'm like, we ain't doing this again. I have went through this with every animal we get, intent to eat, and then we end up having intent to keep instead of intent to eat. And we got to fix this around here. This is getting a little monotonous.
Every animal on the farm has a purpose,
Right, exactly. I want to eat them
down the road.
Right, yeah. I'm ready to eat them, and they're like, oh, but poor thing, look at it, Dad. How could you eat it? Simple. I go out there, I put it down, and then I butcher it. And
God put it there for that purpose,
Right. So. I guess I'm just different turned than them. I reckon. I don't know.
I think, I mean, it's probably just the way you're raised, and growing up and stuff. And, nowadays everything's filly fluffy, and to me, stuffed animals are.
I ain't like it.
I know. At first, I was kind of like our steer, I mean, he was the first one born on our property after we bought him and stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, and he's like jumps around so happy. But he's happy. He's having his best life. It's not like he's going through like what you buy at the store, this horrible life, a miserable life. And then to wind up where it is he's had a good life. We treat him good. He
has one bad day.
Yeah, he has one bad day, Well, he had two, kind of probably, but to be a steer, but
right, yeah.
But, God blessed us with these animals, and we're to be good stewards of them and stuff. And they're not pets,
No.
I name them, but they're not pets.
Right, exactly. It's like so a big YouTube channel came here, and a couple weeks ago, David's been here. He's got like over 1.3, I think it's 1,300,000 subscribers is what he's got.
What's the name of it?
David's been here.
David's been here.
Yeah. And
has he been there to your property?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. David's been here, has been there at your property. Okay.
Yeah. And so he was here I think 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And he did this whole thing on my homestead, right? The homesteading and stuff. He wanted to try the giant stuff out, like trying to eat some of the giant stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't have anything. So we just made a homesteading video for him. And so, what I did is I went out, I found a bunch of morel mushrooms and a bunch of ramps, and I made, we do too. So I fried up some morels for him for breakfast and made him a ramp omelet, and then dandelion jelly. The wife made him dandelion jelly, and then, excuse me, in that omelet we had chili mac, and chili mac was the pig that we butchered. Right. Well, that I butchered. Yeah. And so, we were making a joke during the video. Yeah. Chili mac tastes good, chili mac was tasting pretty good, Yeah. And so anyhow, we, he was like, so we're eating chili mac now. I was like, yeah, you're eating chili mac, like, hey, we're going to fry chili mac up, whatever. But
yeah.
So yeah, that video is going to be released, I think in June, like the first part of June or something like that. It's supposed to be released. But yeah, so that's going to be fun. I was pretty excited to get to be on a huge YouTube channel like that.
Yeah.
And him come here. He's super cool dude. He's like down to earth person.
That's good.
Yeah. And he travels everywhere around the world. Like he goes to Iraq and everywhere, and he tries different food. That's all he does. So
really?
Yeah. That's cool. Super cool dude. And if you get a chance, check the channel out. It's some of the stuff he does is very, very cool. And he's got his own hot sauce, and I can tell you, he left several bottles here with us. It's the best hot sauce I've ever ate.
Really? Is it super, super hot or no?
So he has one that is very hot, but this one is like, you're eating hot sauce, but it's not like, like I need something to drink.
Right.
No. It's very, it's hot. It's just hot enough to where you're eating something good, but not going to hurt you. and it's got a sweet back note to it.
Okay, that would
I
be
think
kind of like.
it kind of put me in the mind of that sweet chili sauce. You know what I'm talking about? The sweet chili sauce that they got, like you dip egg rolls in
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like it kind of reminds you of that because whatever is making it sweet is that flavor,
uh-huh.
but it's just hotter than that.
Right.
Yeah, but it was very, very good. And then he does have a really hot one. Like I wouldn't recommend eating that unless you like really hot stuff.
No, I don't. My
It
stomach doesn't like that really
yeah.
hot.
But that stuff is really good, and you can get it online at like
Really?
davidsbeenhere.com or something like that. So
David's been here.
Yep,
David's
David's
been
been
here.
here.
Been to Heavenly Hills Homestead.
Yes, he
That's
has.
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, well, if you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else, and
I appreciate you inviting me, and
absolutely,
I had a great time, and I learned a lot more about gardening that I want to test out, and I really appreciate the time.
Well, I appreciate you coming on here and hanging out with us and giving your evening up for us. So I'm going to go through this real quick about who we got coming up next. So next week we got Brad Bledsoe, who's a giant grower. He's going to be coming on next week. Then on May 28th, we got Enoch Graham, the urban gardener. June 4th, we've got Zach Hatton from Hatton's Homestead. He's a giant grower. June 11th, we got Nick Kennedy, a giant grower. June 18th, we got another giant grower named Adam Weber. June 25th, we've got Jesus Loving Homestead. July 2nd, we got Heather from Milk and Honey. July 9th, yeah, I can't wait for that one. Yeah. July 9th, we've got Flourish Florida Farm. July 16th, we got Michelle from Big Valley Living. July 23rd, we got Where to Begin Homestead. July 30th, we got Emmett Andrews, who is a giant grower. August 6th, we've got Destin Noak. August 13th, we've got Angela, the Inquisitive Farm Wife. August 20th, we got Cameron Barron. And sometime between August 27th and September 10th, we're going to have Professor Toto. You know who Professor Toto is?
No.
Have you ever heard of Shane Vaughn?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so he teaches the conservative college. He blew up in 2020 after the fudged up election, right? Mm-hmm. And so he just kind of blew up because he pretty much said, like, this is what's going to happen. Yeah. And everybody started watching him. And everything that he has said so far has been spot on. He is, really? And he teaches the conservative college, and basically he is very, very well versed in the Constitution. Everything that he has said would happen, and I'm talking weeks before it happens. He'll say, "Well, this right here is what's going to happen," and it ends up happening because he knows the Constitution that well, and so. I thought it prudent to get him on here before then, before November. And so he said, we talked today, and he said, sure, he'd come on. So we're just going to pick a time between those dates there and whichever day he wants to take there, and we're going to get him to come on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they call him Professor Toto. He had over 200,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel and was continuing to grow, and YouTube took him down.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
And he had to make a new YouTube channel. But he's met with Brad Barton and Trump and all of them.
Oh,
and,
wow! Cool.
Yeah, and so we've talked to him, and I'm pretty excited to get him to come on and stuff. In fact, he's got a live stream on Tuesdays as well, so you can go and check him out. And like I said, he's a good Christian fella, and so very spot on with that. And he's very, very intelligent when it comes to the Constitution. So
I love talking to people like that or listening to people like that.
I do too. And because it's only beneficial for us. That way we know what we're doing and what we're talking about, right? So I'm excited for what we got going on. Hopefully we can get your husband to come on soon.
You can. I guarantee you can.
And talk, because I like running heavy equipment too. So that's something I like to do as well. So we got some good things in common. And I used to drag race a Corvette. So
really? Well, we won't talk too much back to about you with a Corvette, but I'm teasing. Are you a Chevy guy?
I'm
Well,
diehard. Yeah, but I like the old muscle cars. So like I like the Super B.
that's a beautiful car too.
I would love to have one of them. Yeah. So I like the old stuff. I don't like the new stuff, but I like the
I don't
old stuff.
either. My
Yeah.
car is a '78 Trans Am. That's my favorite.
Ooh.
It's not it's a pony car, but I love it. But Johnny has the '69 Pontiacs, so so we love those old cars.
Yep, there ain't nothing like them. The old
They're
muscle
not.
cars, they were awesome. But I had a 2000 model Corvette when I was in the Army, and I spent all my money from Iraq building that car up. And I had I had 725 horsepower to the rear wheels, and that was out without the 2-stage nitrous.
Cool.
So, yeah, because then I put 2-stage nitrous on there, and that was a fun car. Very fun.
I bet. You and Johnny will have a lot to talk about then. Yeah, definitely will.
Yeah, there's a big story behind that car, sadly. So,
there always is. There always. I'm sorry.
I wish I had it today.
I know. That's why. If we had all those cars, it's Johnny. He's talked about the cars he had. He wish we kept. Like he'll tease me and go, "I think I might sell it." Nope.
Right.
Nope. Yep. Nope. We're not selling any of those cars.
I almost went and bought a Camaro instead of the tractor.
Oh, you did better. Tractor better.
I was like, it had 14,000 original miles on it. It was a Z28. Had it been a 98 and not a 97, because I don't like the 97 headlights, it would have been a 98. I'd have probably bought it. It had all the owners' paperwork and everything with it. Beautiful car. Yeah, very well taken care of. And I was like, man, my back just can't take hand tilling no more. I'm gonna have to get that tractor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was close to getting that daggone car. So hopefully I'll get me another one. I've had 2 Camaros and I've had that Corvette, and that thing was nice. So we'll have plenty to talk about.
Absolutely.
So, well, guys, appreciate. If you'll just stay on whenever we end this, and we'll wrap up. But guys, we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys for coming in, and thank you again for spending this evening with us.
Yes.
So we'll see. It has been. But guys, we'll see you next time right here in the Hollers and Hills of West Virginia. See y'all.
Have a blessed week.